What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. You know who I am, and welcome back to another episode of Filmstock Reviews. In this episode, I'm reviewing Loki. Now, Loki premiered on Disney Plus June 9th, 2021, and ran for 6 episodes, and the season finale was on July 14th, 2021. Now, I'm very surprised that this show was 6 episodes because you really can't get much into 6 episodes in any TV show and any TV series. But with this, they did that. They put in a lot of interesting and crazy, amazing, great things. Loki had that time travel, sci-fi, some bits of horror aspect to it. The season finale did have a lot of horror aspects to it, even the 5th episode as well, which is really interesting and really well. Now, the story is about where Loki is arrested by the TVA, the Time Variant Authority, and for that he creates a new timeline, so to speak, where at the Battle of New York he steals the Tesseract in 2012, which transports him to somewhere on another world or timeline for that matter. Now, all these timelines are actually protected and so forth. I want to say, redone by the TVA in order to put things back into place. They are hunting Lokis, they're hunting his variants, his different likes and forms for that matter. This one variant is Sylvia, and she is actually so-called a Loki for that matter. But the thing is, she's not who she says she is. And Loki doesn't believe her, and then Sylvia plays the Loki. It's back and forth of trusting someone, not trusting someone. All the while this is happening, in the first few couple of episodes, Owen Wilson plays Mobius M. Mobius. Now, if you didn't know who Mobius M. Mobius is, he is actually a character that stems from the Fantastic Four comic books. So he's more known in that world, so to speak. And within that time, he wants to understand what's happening. He takes Loki around to try and stop this variant, so to speak. And with all this going on, a lot of things are happening. And with that, we have, Renslayer, who is Gugu Mbatha-Raw, and she is a fantastic actress. And the way she portrays her character in this is really, really good. Now, I do want to say that the TVA, the Time Variant Authority, or the Time Variance Authority, whatever way you want to say it, is very interesting. The timekeepers, so to speak, are the ones who put the timeline in order, and if you saw one of the Avengers movies, if you remember, where they explain the timeline, if it goes out of certain areas, it has to be in one straight line or something. If something goes off, a lot of things happen. And then we see that in this series. The timeline plays a huge factor in this, and it just goes on and on. But then we realize that the TVA is different, so to speak. And as it goes on through the show, we understand that they're not who they say they are, or they themselves, these people that work there, aren't who they are as well. And Loki tries to find out what's going on, and he's actually kind of an anti-hero in this, you could say. Even though he plays a villain in the Avengers movies and the Thor movies, in his own show he's actually a good guy, and the villains are the TVA, the timekeepers, and the person doing all of this. Now, there is a spoiler I do want to say, because this is a huge spoiler, because did not expect what was happening in the season finale, but when they introduced this one person, I was very surprised and shocked, because this sets the standard for the Phase 4 of Marvel in a big way. We find out there is a multiverse, and with that, the multiverse of madness is born. There's all these different timelines happening, and we don't know what's going on. But then, they have to fix this. How can they fix this? Well, Jonathan Majors, who was cast as Kang the Conqueror, is in this. He shows up in the season finale, episode 6 of Loki. Now, he isn't called Kang the Conqueror, but he is called He Who Remains. Now, if you don't know, Kang the Conqueror is a scientist from the 31st century who created the TVA to save the timeline from being destroyed by the evil variants of himself. Now, these evil variants are Kang the Conqueror. Now, something happens at the end of the season finale which sets the tone for Marvel from here on out, especially Phase 4. What's going to happen with all these movies? What's going to happen with these TV shows? Anything's possible and anything can happen. The way this show was done was in your face. It was great. The sci-fi aspect of it was fantastic. And in episode 5, it was interesting because we had different variants of Loki, and Richard E. Grant was old Loki, and there was a younger Loki. There was an alligator Loki, who you could say is the Baby Yoda of the MCU. Now, give me t-shirts, give me toys, give me cups, give me anything you call it. Give me something with alligator Loki on it, because even though he was in it for a very short time, this animal creature stole the hearts of people worldwide. And if you see this series, then you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen this show, check it out. I would have to say that this is better than WandaVision and better than The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. WandaVision was more so horror. It dealt with her coming out and coming of age and trying to understand what she's going through in her mind and who is actually controlling everything. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was more so a political thriller, where based on, okay, what happens in the world where after Captain America disappears and what happens when someone else takes over. This Loki stayed true to his character. We find out what happened at the end of Avengers Endgame when he stole the Tesseract and he went somewhere and it just changed everything. And what Marvel is doing, what Kevin Feige is doing, is fantastic and great. They're actually stepping on different stories one after another. And with that, they're doing things in a way where it's going to make sense. Because Black Widow was supposed to start off Phase 4 of the MCU, but it didn't. So-called, you could say WandaVision did, kind of. But then that story was still lagging a little bit because we didn't understand what was happening in that one. But then The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you think, started off, and then Black Widow came out July 9th, 2021, and we're like, wow, okay, is this the start of, Phase 4? Well, that's so far a backstory of what was happening after the events of a certain movie of Captain America and the events of that. But I have to officially say that Loki is actually the main series that kicks off Phase 4 rightfully and entirely in your face. We get the multiverse, we get the timelines. Anything can happen and anything's possible. Because, and the reason I say this is because we can get the X-Men coming in from a different universe. We can get the Fantastic Four coming in. And there is a Fantastic Four movie coming out. Now, the interesting thing is that we get to see Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, who is going to be the variant. Now, what we saw at the end of episode 6, like I said, was the person who was explaining things. But as he said, there's different forms of him. But we don't know which different form is actually Kang the Conqueror. So Kang the Conqueror is one of those villains where if you don't know who he is, ladies and gentlemen, do your research on him, because he's more ruthless, he's more crazier, and he doesn't give a shit. And he's more insane than Thanos ever was. You thought Thanos was bad? Wait till you see Kang the Conqueror do some dirty work and try to rule and conquer the universe. And with the multiverse happening, wow, the possibilities are endless, and I'm curious to see how everything happens and how they defeat Kang the Conqueror. You get the X-Men, you get the Fantastic Four, you get certain variants, you should get certain people trying to come together and start this new Avengers, so to speak. And if Captain Marvel and the Marvels somehow work into this, then it's going to be an interesting way Phase 4 plays out. It's going to be fun, it's going to be interesting, and like I said, if you haven't seen it, check out Loki, because it's definitely a fantastic show. It is confusing at times if you don't know what's going on, but you do have to watch certain movies and certain, clips and short things that understand what's happening up to this point. But listen, it's Tom Hiddleston as Loki. You get Owen Wilson as Mobius. Gugu Mbatha is in it as Renslayer. And if you didn't know, Renslayer and Kang the Conqueror are kind of a love interest in the comic books, so I'm curious to see how that plays out. And her character at the end of the season finale did do something where you could see her again as well. You will see all these characters again, I'm pretty sure. Owen Wilson you'll see again as Mobius in the Fantastic Four movie, I'm pretty sure of it. And it's just going to be crazy from here on out. And I can't wait to see what happens next in Phase 4. For me, Loki gets 5 out of 5 stars. So let me know in the comment section below what you thought about Loki on Disney+. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And what did you think of it? And now that I reviewed it, will you be checking it out? And so far, what is your favorite Marvel TV series? Is it WandaVision, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or Loki? And what did you think of the genre aspect of it? Let me know in the comment section below. And are you looking forward to Phase 4 now that you know there is a multiverse? There's a multiverse of madness now that all these timelines have appeared, and what can happen now? And do you think Kang the Conqueror will be a ruthless villain more so than Thanos? Let me know in the comment section below. And be sure you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell for new videos on my channel. And you know where to follow Marchio Productions and me, Mr. Filmstock. I'll leave a link to all the social media accounts in the description box below. You guys can check it out and follow along. I'm Anthony. Thanks for tuning in.